Okay, guys, listen. I had something else to talk to you about. Another story. So I just wanted to share this story. Um, and I wanted to share it now because I actually am going to be helping and assisting in handing out Chromebooks and also doing some feeding for our families in our community. So I'll be doing that shortly. So I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there and speak on it. Um, because when I get home, I have to then be a teacher to Sir Thomas, my son Sir Thomas. So I didn't know if I would have time to say this. So I wanted to go right back and say it after the video that I already uploaded. So yes, it's the same me, same day, same moment. I just wanted to give you two different stories at two different times. So here we go. So they don't really know what to expect in ways of people passing from this, because we know the higher percentage are the elderly, because the elderly is susceptible to problems with their breathing, so it can attack them. It's some elderly people that are they made it right through. Some that have survived so many, excuse me, that survived so many things in life, smallpox, and just the really old people too that have seen something like this in their lifetime and survived it in some way. Basically, some, not many of them are surviving, but they are surviving after going through it, right? But because the focus is on them, obviously they're getting in there, quicker, or being admitted, unlike someone my age or younger that goes to the hospital with these symptoms and feel like, something's going on here, something's not right. We wouldn't get admitted. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we may get tested for it and test positive for it, but then we're sent home to quarantine, self-quarantine, opposed to an older person that comes in and has it. They're going to admit them because they foresee that, the turmoil that it takes on your body, so they go ahead and admit them. So that means I say this to say that the coronavirus has killed younger people, okay? In the story that I'm getting ready to talk to you about this special education teacher and baseball coach. His name is Ben Ludier. Around March, I believe it was. We'll see it in the story. I'll confirm it if I'm wrong. I'll correct it when I show you the story. But I believe it was March 19th that his wife Brandy tested positive, and about 3 days later he then fell ill of it as well. Okay, so I've read the story and I saw it on television. The wife was being interviewed, so I'm gonna try to give you a summary of what I know. So his wife and him had not been sharing a space. Obviously, she was on the couch and he was in the bed. So she's in the living room, he's in the bedroom, and they communicated primarily, as mostly the biggest percentage of time was through text messaging, because remember, they're in two separate places on purpose to save each other's lives, right? Now, they have been together for quite some time and they work together, same district, same school, and I think it's the same school. I don't know, but I know it's the same district. So in any case, they commute to work together every morning. They do everything together. They're both educators and sports people, so they do everything together. He only lived to be 30 years old. He's 30. Okay. So what's crazy is that it happened so quickly for him, right? So he was, telling his wife that was having trouble breathing, like he's like, it's getting hard. It's in my chest. It's getting hard. Days kept going past. So he finally came to her and he was like, listen, I need to go to the hospital. Something's wrong. I can't breathe. I gotta go to the hospital. So she said, you sure? Because she was nervous about them being at the hospital, being there with it, and, just what would happen. Well, they try to tell you, you can get worse, and you know how it goes. So she just wanted to make sure he wanted to go to the hospital. So he did. They did. She took him to the hospital. And they gave him some oxygen, and he responded well to the oxygen and Tylenol, of course, and other medications. She said medications, and she did mention Tylenol when she talked. But and they sent him home. That was on Friday, so they sent him home. So he went home, and she said eventually he started feeling a little bit better, well enough that he could sit up and get out the bed, and that they can hold a conversation, because he couldn't even hardly talk to her. The breathing was so bad. Like every breath he took, was a life breath for him. So anyway, she said she got a humidifier from a neighbor or a friend. So she got a humidifier. Nonetheless, she borrowed a humidifier, thinking that would help him. He got a bath. She had the humidifier in there for him. Anything that she could do. So he got in bed. Like she said, he seemed like he was doing. He could, he was a little bit better than he was. So she got a text from him after time, and he said, I can't breathe. Like he said, he needed her. So she came up. She said he was scared. He was sweating through his clothes. Can you just, his wife is sitting there with her husband, her 30-year-old husband, who I'm sure they were planning on, having a family at some point of their own. And 30, young guy, 30 years old, he's dead. And he's talking to his wife, and he's scared, and he's shaking, So I guess they both made the decision. Because at this point, she just didn't know what to do. I don't know. She never mentioned about calling a doctor, but I'm just thinking in my case, I would have called a physician just to let them know what was going on, see what we could, do. But I don't. If we see that, we'll discuss that together. If while I'm revisiting the article. So in any case, it just basically she went back downstairs after getting him as comfortable as possible, and and came back up at 6 a.m. So she went back down at 2, I believe, and came back up at 4. She said she could hear him, that he was breathing, so she just, So anyway, she went back upstairs, and he was dead. She found him dead. She found her husband dead. She's facing something she's never faced. She's not knowing what to do. I don't know how that conversation went between her and her husband. why she felt like they couldn't go back to the hospital, or if I don't know. I don't know the rest of that part. I would have definitely, if I had an opportunity to interview her or talk to her, that would have definitely been something that I would have wanted to know. Like, when he was scared and he was sweating, did you not call to try to get him to the hospital, or call the paramedics so they could, I don't know. I mean, you have these questions because it's not happening to you, but I really don't know, you know, what she was thinking, how she was feeling, how their conversation went. Um, I don't know. So I just know that in my situation, I know with my spouse that he would not have wanted me to call um, the paramedics. And it wouldn't have mattered because I probably would have still called. Pretty sure I would have still called because I want to do anything, everything to save his life. So I say this to you all to just basically bring awareness to the fact that he was only 30, and, you know, being a special education teacher and a baseball player, and a very famous local baseball player, and becoming a coach himself. One of the things that the everybody had nothing but positive and nice things to say about him, and just great conversations with him, great stories, great memories that they made together. Sound to be a very a very great person that, and they all are suffering a great loss as a community. But what was so sad to me was when one of the guys said that it's no script for um, having a moment to tell his team that he died from COVID-19. And that was the hardest thing for them to do. So he and his wife had no children. His wife is still on self-quarantine. Of course, she tested positive. Her brother, who's in college, lives with them. They did not mention that he tested positive for COVID-19, but I'm sure that she's self-quarantined from him as well, but she's still not alone in the house, after this. So my prayers and my heart goes out to Miss Brandy Ludier, I think Ludier. Hope I'm saying that right. Um, I wish you nothing but healing for yourself. I'm sending you lots of strength, and I can't even imagine what you're going through. So I just wanted to bring awareness to the fact that you can be young, okay? And the last thing that one person said in regards to this young man, I guess they were a undefeated team. So, and invincible is what they said, I think. And just, to be invincible, I think he said the ironic thing or something to the irony of it is that his team was invincible, but he could not be defeated. But COVID-19 was able to defeat him. Something like that. But we'll look at it. But I just want to tell you guys, stay safe. If you can stay home, stay home. If you have to go out, be as protective as you can. Like I said earlier, I do have to go out today, and we definitely take as many precautions as possible because we want to make sure we keep each other safe. But I just want you guys to understand that this is real and this is serious and it's not a joke. and it's not a game. You know, stay home, stay safe, live, love, laugh, and practice social distancing, please.